Nothing like a late night, hot, steaming shower. Good evening and welcome to the Füsh Exception Book. This week I will be reading the Füsh Exception Book in the shower. That's right, I am currently washing up and let's learn some of these exceptions, shall we? Exception 1. An ace cannot be trumped except by the opposite colored 2, in which case the ace is worth 0, loses its trump quality, and cannot win in a straight. Exception 2. If a player wins a trick with a 2, they must jog around the table or playing area repeatedly, saying 2, while holding up 2 fingers, thumbs do not count, or else the other team wins the trick. If this coincides with exception 9, both players must do this. This exception does not apply if you're playing in a car. Exception 3, in the event of a straight, the lowest value card wins the trick, and trump is void. Clarification, if there's a tie in value, like in exception 6, the lowest number with that value breaks the tie. This can occur across aces, such as ace, king, 2, 3, in which case the 2 will win, bearing another card being worth 0, due to exception 1, sub-exception A. Exception 4, if all 4 cards played are trump suit, face cards are now worth 0, and this includes aces. Exception 5, if all 4 suits are played in a trick, the first team to give each other a high five wins the trick. There must be palm-on-palm contact. This is not awkward at all. And no hovering, and only one arm may be used. Exception 6. A 7 will beat an 8 of the opposite color, unless a 6 is in play, which makes both the 7 and the 8 worth 5, and this can overrule trump. Here's some clarification. If there's a black 6, black 7, red 8, black 9 straight occurs, the 7 will win. And more clarification, if a black 5, black 6, black 7, red 8 straight occurs, the 5 will win. Exception 7. A 7 will make a jack have the value of 0, unless both the jack and the 7 are trump suits. Clarification, if the jack is trump and the 7 is not, the jack will have the value of 0, but it's still winning because it's trump suit, but it'll be beaten by any other trump suit. Exception 8. If 2 of the same card is played in a row, the second card will take preference unless the player of the first card says ka-ching, cash register noise, along with the appropriate inverted fist bump. If this occurs with 6s, the player of the first card must make hissing sounds and devil horns instead. Exception 9. If a team plays 2 cards of the same color and number, it beats all non-face cards. Clarification, if both teams do this, then the team with the higher number wins the trick. Exception 10. If playing between the hours of 10 and 11, both AM and PM, the team with the least amount of tricks wins the points. Standard time, it happens twice per day. Exception 11. If there's a 3 of a kind in a trick, the trump suit will switch to the suit not in the 3 of a kind for the next trick. Exception 12. If a single card is worth 0 2 or more times, all exceptions are void and it wins the trick. Except exception 5, high fives still apply. Exception 13, if playing under the age of 14, a player must announce so before the start of each round or else they lose 1 trick. Exception 14, if a team earns more than 3 points in a round, they must give each other a high five or else the other team earns the points. This cannot be done to make the other team go over. In clarification, if the team doesn't high five, the other team doesn't need to high five. This is to prevent an infinite loop of refusal. Exception 15, if playing on Saturday or in a tournament, the players have the option to say the Pledge of Allegiance or sing the respective country's national anthem, if not the US, before the start of the game. Exception 16, the winning team must shake hands with the losing team or else they lose 2 points. The handshake cannot be avoided. Exception 17, in the extremely rare event of all 4 cards being the same, every exception is suspended and the winner of the next trick wins both. Exception 18, the dealer may choose before dealing to call out a card to have the value of 0 for the round. It can still be used to make a partner win, like in Exception 9. Exception 19, if a player wins 3 tricks in a row, their face cards are worth 0 for the next 3 tricks, and this carries over rounds. Exception 20, in the event of a double Hinderdurgen, the game shall enter a Tetris bypass confrontation, which will be settled through the appointment of a Durchgetter. If you can't understand it by now, in the event of 2 teams high-fiving at the same time, the winner shall be decided by someone who's not watching and doesn't have a biased opinion, or you could just flip a coin. But a coin? Why would you do that? Exception 21. If playing while it's raining, the trump suit switches to the opposite suit of the same color. This could be so annoying on Wednesdays. Exception 22. After the cards are dealt and before the first card is played, if a player holds a 4 of a kind, they do not have to, don't feel pressured, to show all 4 cards to the other players in order to earn a point. If this is done with 2s, the player must follow Exception 2 and run around the table or playing area 4 times, once for each 2. Exception 23, nonverbal messages sent between partners must consist of at least 3 different signals. You can't simply knock on the table thrice. Exception 24, if there are more than 2 onlookers present during the entire trick, 4s are now worth 8.01. If playing with Bob, this applies with 3s being worth 6.01. If you're live streaming, every 20 people watching counts as 1 onlooker. And Exception 25, if there's an onlooker who is insistent on learning by watching and not playing, the players may decide to make a new exception specifically for that game to further confuse the onlooker. Well, that does it for this episode of the Füsh Exception Book. And stay clean out there, my friends. Toodaloo.